Hi everyone, it's Claire from ScrappyNerdUK and welcome back to the cut files. This is episode 8 in the series and there is only one more video to come, which will be up on Friday. So as usual, I am using some cut files from Paige Evans' Etsy store and I'll leave that linked in the description box down below for you. So I'm using this monster cut file and I just found it completely adorable. And what I wanted to do, and I've done this a few times through different methods, through tracing and through doing a freehand cut. I am using this cut file twice and I'm going to create a little green and a little pink monster. I'm going to be scrapping some photos of my nephews and my nieces and I am going to adapt the cut files slightly to just make them a little bit different. And this is kind of the technique today, so don't be scared to cut into those cut files and adapt them to suit what you are working with. So I am pulling papers from Paiges collections, and I think I'm actually going to use quite a few different collections for this layout, which is something different for me. I am trying to embrace mixing and matching things together, so I'm using, I think this is Fancy Free, I think. And I've pulled a couple of papers from the 12x12 pad and I've gone with this pink and the minty green colour. And I've cut my white cardstock just on the diagonal. And I want the those papers that I'm going to use to back the cut files to feature on the layout as well. So I'm going to have those poking out to the left. So I'm just relining up my cardstock to the pattern papers and then I'm going to trim them all just to make them back to a 12x12 again. And just, of course, as I was doing that, I managed to move the papers. And so I'm going to just trim off the excess just for the minute. And then I'm going to use I could have used a ruler or my 12x12 cutting mat to help me realign these. But the easiest way is just to pop that offcut back down on where it belongs, and I'm just going to use a bit of washi tape to secure it this time. And then I'm going to line that back up to the corner of that green paper, and so that means I get it exactly where I want it. And then once that's down, I can add some more tape just to secure it all together. And then rather than wasting the rest of the paper that is not going to be seen, I do just trim that from the back once it is all secured in place. So there we are, I'm just going to trim that bit off. There's no point in that going to waste. So once that is all secured down, I do go in and just add some extra tape under some of those areas where it's a little loose, and I'm trying not to put the tape too close to the edge because I want to give this a little bit of texture. And I'm just going to use my nail underneath the edges and just pull up the white cardstock to give it a bit of a distressed edge, and do the same again with that pink pattern paper as well. So next up I'm going to work on these cut files. So they are both cut to the same size, and I'm not going to do anything with this one apart from stick it down. So I'm not putting any glue on the feet or on the little horns, because I'm going to have the feet without anything behind, and then the horns I want to be able to lift up. This one here, I just make a small adjustment to it. As I said, I want to make these look like two different sort of monsters, and so I'm just going to trim one of those teeth off, and this one's going to have slightly different teeth to the other one. And I'm just going to use some wet glue in a fine line bottle, and again I'm avoiding the feet. And I am also avoiding the ears because I want to do the same on that one as well. And that's super duper quick to get this stuck down. Now this cut file here has very thick cut lines, which is great because it makes it so easy to be able to backfill this with some pattern paper. So I'm just going to trim around the outside of both of these cut files. And I decide, when I get to the ears, I was deciding whether I wanted the pattern paper behind the ears or whether I wanted to have it exposed like the feet. And I actually decided to leave the pattern paper not ears, the horns. I decided to leave the pattern paper behind, but you'll see that I just trim around, use the outside of the cut file just to trim around it. And then that will enable me to lift up the edges of the cut file and have it separate from the pattern paper, and that will help give me some added texture and dimension and shadowing on the layout. And then I'll do the same with the pink one as well. You don't need to see me cut that one out again. So next up, they look very menacing with those horns sticking up, but I think they all look very cute in the end with the addition of a few bits. So you'll see there that I've popped a little pink bow onto the top right of the pink monster's horn, and then I've put a little bow tie on the green monster's horn, and I just thought that was a really cute addition. And so I've actually gone ahead and actually die cut out some hearts as well, because my background was looking very bare, so I want to fill some of that space with the same pattern papers that I've used for the monsters. And I'm just going to use my scissors to distress the edges of those hearts, just again to add some extra texture. They look very flat on the layout at the moment. Now I've actually gone ahead and stuck all of this down. I will go ahead and stick all of this down, and I won't make you watch me do all the sticking and sticking process, because that will take forever. So I'm just going to fast forward, and everything has now been stuck down on the layout, all the paper layers that you saw. And now I'm going to work on the photo. So I've just used a paper from I think it's from the 6x8 Horizons paper pad, and I've stuck all of my photos down. I was going to just use a white border, but it needed a tiny pop of colour behind those photos, and I printed them black and white because these photos were all taken at different times. I wanted just a little photo of my nieces and nephews to add on to this layout, because the title is going to be Love My Little Monsters or something like that. You'll see when I get to do the title. It's been a while. I created this a while ago, so forgive me whilst I'm doing the voiceover. I've completely forgotten what I've called this layout. But yeah, so the photos are all taken at different times. They've all got different contrasts and exposures, and there was one that was quite grainy as well. So what I decided to do is just print them all black and white, because black and white is very forgiving with photos. And I'm using a mixture of sticking some down flat to the background and then some up on to some foam, again just to add a little bit of height and shadowing on those. And then once I've done that, some of these photos as well are Halloween, and that's what I was kind of inspired by with the cut file, because you can very versatile for Halloween. But I also wanted to show that going with the very soft pastel-y colours, that it doesn't necessarily have to be just for Halloween either. So those are the photos all down on my layout. So here comes another collection. This is Go the Scenic Route. And I'm going to have a look for some of those chipboard pieces. And there's some really big pieces on here, but I wanted to add in some more colour to this. So I'm going to go with those hearts, because I've already got the paper layered hearts. And yes, some of those paper hearts are going to get fairly covered with all of the embellishing that I do, but I'm okay with that. That happens a lot of the time with what we do anyway, when we start adding those embellishments on, and that's okay. So I'm going to add, you can see there those little circles. I actually punched those out of the 6x6 paper pad, and I am just going to pop those to one side. I did add them to the layout. I wasn't sure whether they were going to make it on, but they will make an appearance back on the layout. But for now, I'm just going to pop those to one side, and they will come back later on. So I'm just having a look at, well, it seems I'm multitasking, because I'm looking at these word puffy stickers and also looking at the 6x8 paper pad, which I decided I don't need any more paper on this. So I don't know why I was having a flick through it, but sometimes you get little cut aparts that really help with embellishing as well. But on this occasion, I just decided to go with the word love, and then I am going to have a look. I will finish the title. I'm a bit of a backwards and forwards on this layout, with starting one thing and then going to another. I love florals, so anything and the florals from Go the Scenic Route are just amazing and very colourful, and I wanted to add in that deeper pink colour that you can see in the chipboard heart to the left. and just to separate some of these hearts out, because it is all looking very one tone. If I say one tone, obviously we've got two different colours going on already, but I needed some extra pops of different colours. So I'm just using the florals from Go the Scenic Route to just pop behind the top of each of the little monsters, and making sure that I've got an even split of the colours from the left to the right. So I've got a bit of orange in that heart down to the left, so I'm going to pop an orange flower up there. And there's also a little bit of red going on, so, sorry, darker pink going on, should I say. So I'm going to pop that extra little flower in the top right cluster as well. And then I decide to add in, there's the rest of my title. So, love these happy monsters. So I go back to those puffy words again and get the word happy. And then I teamed it with the little navy alphas, which also from Paige, which are my favourite, which feature in a lot of videos. And I use the white ones a lot more, but I also use the navy ones a lot too. So I've used this combination of colours in a previous video. These are the Distress Oxides, one in Sponge Sugar and one in Salvage Patina, and I love the marriage of those two colours, and they work so well with the colours of the pattern paper that I've chosen as well. So I'm just popping some of that ink down onto some reused packaging, and just using my paintbrush, a little bit of water, using my paintbrush to add in some ink splatters so the white background isn't so white. And then I do follow those splatters down the hearts and over the embellishments as well. So these little 1-inch circles that I'd punched out of the pattern paper, they are going to make an appearance. Some of them are going to make an appearance. So I'm just going to pop some wet glue, and I'm just going to tuck them here and there throughout the layout, ones that mean something, and also ones that match in the colours, which these do perfectly. And I am happy that I have decided to add those on as well. Final couple of things, I'm going to add some splatters of navy in the Heidi Swap Colour Shine. This one didn't want to splat so well, so I just used the end of the nozzle just to place my ink down on the paper. And then the final thing, I'm just going to add in some Nouveau drops that are in this pinky colour. Sorry, I haven't got the actual name of the colour to hand, and that one kind of exploded, but this is life, this is real life when scrapping, and this is my layout complete. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, then I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. If you are new to my channel, then I would love for you to subscribe. And if you have any questions, or if you'd like to leave me any comments, please feel free to do so in the comments section down below. And I will be back on Friday with the final episode of the Cut Files, and I'll see you all again really soon. Bye guys.